Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the DNVR Rapids podcast. We are presented, of course, by the homies at DraftKings Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Download the app, use promo code DNVR when you sign up, and you'll get the hook. We got a special one for you today, folks. We're going to be talking some World Cup. We're going to be talking some Rapids offseason. But first, we got a really special guest, so I'm going to breeze through the other guys. I'm your host, Mitchell Carroll, as always, joined by super producer Yahir, top left.
Hello.
And, of course, downtown Duane Brown, down there in the corner. But enough of those guys and enough of me. We have, from MLSsoccer.com, the MLS Insider, Tommy Scoops himself, Tom Bogert. Welcome to the show.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for having me. Hope all is going well. I love the Rockies hat. That logo is one of my favorite on a baseball hat, so I respect it.
Thank you. I'm fashion forward. I'm the fashion forward one here, by the way.
It's good. You match with the jersey too, so I respect it.
Look, watch. It's the mint green Rapids.
Let's go. Tommy Scoops, confirmed Denver guy. You love it. Yeah, man, we're excited to have you on. Obviously, with covering the Rapids and covering a team that may not be the hottest free agency destination, you get a lot of trade rumors and trade announcements. And obviously the big one so far this offseason is acquiring Kevin Cabral from the Galaxy. Expensive acquisition for them, a much seemingly less expensive acquisition from Pork Smith. What are your sort of thoughts on that move for the Rapids? How do you see him fitting in? Do you think that was the right way to go, and just sort of the intricacies of that trade?
Yeah, so it is complicated in that you said it was expensive, but like the 1 million GAM is kind of like a red herring. It's not exactly 1 million GAM because the Galaxy are paying half of his contract. It's the same way when Tim Parker was traded to St. Louis. The immediate response, like when I found out, I was like, "How did they really got 500,000 for him?" I was like, "Well, yeah, but they're also paying half of his salary." So it's like it's just money moving from one pocket to the other. Again, the Colorado doesn't do this trade if they have to pay his entire salary, let alone give any money. So that's an important thing to say off the bat. With that being said, Kevin Cabral was acquired by the Galaxy for just under $6 million. That was an overpay at the time. I said that at the time. He's still somebody who should have been bought for $3 or $4 million. That's a legitimate, valuable asset.
Sure.
He did a lot of good things dynamically on and off the ball with the Galaxy. He was clearly broken in terms of confidence, in terms of bad situation. I felt really bad for him. I felt bad to kind of critique him because it was clear that just his mind wasn't right. The confidence was gone. And that happens for a young player. So all of that aside, I love the idea of rolling the dice on a talented kid, a kid who they think is going to fit better in their system, and saying, okay, you can pay half of his salary. We'll get this player who you signed for $6 million, but for $1 million in, allocation money and not real pocket cash. That's been the Rapids MO, is that they try to find value in some of these assets. Like the Rapids wouldn't have been in the bidding to sign him 2 years ago when he was going for the price he was going and the contract that he was getting. So if they're not going to be a team that's a big spending team like the Galaxy or some other teams, this is where you kind of make your best value. The way that they got Mark Anthony Kaye, the way that they got Calvin Acosta, and you got to go through down the line for all these trades. I really love it from that standpoint. He's not a perfect player. This doesn't mean that he's going to absolutely be perfect, but they're betting on he's going to mature. Fresh start is going to change things for him. He's going to score more goals, get a little bit luckier. He had a lot of things that you can criticize for him of bad finishes, but some of it goes down to a little bit of luck. I don't know how great he's going to be, but I think that the process of doing a signing like this is smart. Whether it works out or not, we'll see.
Right. And when the offense was really cooking last year, which was pretty much, few and far between, really, they didn't score a ton of goals. But when it worked at its best, it was Mikey B on one side, it was Jonathan Lewis on the other, and they were absolutely burning down those flanks. And it seems to be that now they just have another guy that can do that really well, especially it felt like Sam kind of fell off with his speed a little bit. So, I mean, is it really just a system play more than anything?
Yeah, that's part of it too. And that's a good point to bring up. Like, I know one of the goals for the Rapids this offseason is to get younger and faster and more dynamic. Well, they acquired a 23-year-old who, again, we can talk about his finishing mishaps, his final ball, maybe what he looks like in the final third. I think it's inarguable that this kid is really fast and really dynamic. So again, like that was kind of the MO. Again, I want to make sure that I'm not sounding like just like bringing out the pom-poms. Like, he has work to do. And like what I'm saying in terms of being so positive is I am betting on him to, maybe not be the 4 to 6 million player that maybe we thought he was going to, but definitely better than what he showed with the Galaxy. If that doesn't happen, then this is, I wouldn't call it a bad move, but it's still a significant asset that they're using. I believe he is going to be a DP. I know that doesn't mean a ton for the Rapids, but they do have a lot of players between the senior budget charge and max TAM. So like they could use these DP spots on other players, whether, it's not going to be, a $10 million player, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But, again, I think that if you look around the league at young, talented players, like the Rapids kind of strategy of recent years that has worked out well in numerous cases, this was somebody who really would fit that bill. So again, I'm very intrigued to see how it goes.
Yeah, he joins Max. Ralph Priso was the play last year with the Mark Anthony K trade.
All right. I'm sorry just to cut you off, but sure. Because I feel like I'm doing a disservice if it sounds like, oh, you're just going to come on and say everything's great. That's wonderful. No. One thing I disagreed with.
That's my job, Tom. That's my job.
So one thing I disagreed with is that I love the trades to get Kellen Acosta. I love the trade to get Mark Anthony K.
Yeah.
I understand the value in those trades, and I understand with Kellen Acosta, a lot of it was not being able to agree to a new contract. My criticism there is if you're a team like the Rapids, you're not going to go out and spend $5 to $7 million on another center mid, another 10, another striker. This isn't a kid like Cole Bassett or Sam, like those K and Acosta I'm talking about in particular. These aren't kids who are going to go to Europe. Like, maybe that's their desires, whatever. These guys are kind of like the Walker Zimmerman mode. Like, I don't know why you would ever, like Walker Zimmerman, when he was traded to LAFC by Dallas, I thought that was weird. And when he was traded by LAFC to Nashville, I thought that was very weird.
Right.
Nashville gave him a DP deal. I don't know why, if you're the Rapids, like Kellen Acosta and Mark Anthony K, that you just don't build around those guys. So again, like, I don't want to come off like I'm saying everything's great, everything's perfect, but I think the end goal for some of these signings is to keep these like MLS type guys like that you're not going to spend a big money. So why not overpay air quote on a contract to keep Kellen Acosta? So like, I think that would be my one criticism. And the team found it difficult because it's hard to buy and sell in this league. I'm really worried about Montreal next year. Sure. I don't think that it's really replicable to get, a Georgia Mihailovic replacement for $1 million GAM or, go down the line of all the players that they're losing. So I think that would be the end goal for me. But again, I understand those deals individually. But again, like the quality, I think, is more important for this team, particularly the in prime players like that. So we'll see what happens with Cabral over a few years. If it works out well, will he stay?
Right.
Also, like the Rapids are known for like interleague trading. They really don't go out of the MLS and go get a lot of players, and they do it's like younger players from like South America and all that. What are some targets that you might not have heard of, but like you would think the Rapids could like look at, like that striker, maybe like a center back and a left back, which are like the three big holes in this roster right now?
Yeah, it's funny. Right before we got on, I know that this isn't what you were thinking, but Steven Beitashour. Happened as the waiting screen was on. So yeah, left back. I still think that they'll need another player, but outside of Beitashour, and I'm sure that they're looking. I know that Galvan, when they play three at the back, he can play a little wing back, and it's going to be good that Galvan's back. Center back, they have a lot of players that I find like interesting talents, but nobody who's like, again, Boubacar Keita didn't play because he got injured. So that's who knows what he looks like. So I don't know kind of how you handle that in terms of not wanting to block a chance for Keita and seeing if Viacia can be better than he was last year. So, but I do still think that they'll add there. Striker was a big one, and still like I'm intrigued to see if they're going to go for another striker. Like I've heard rumors, like obviously Patrick Clement for the Red Bulls is very available. He's the exact same mold as Kevin Cabral, and that would make a lot of sense to me. And again, I'm sure that the idea would have been either or for Clement or Cabral, but maybe they go in that regard again. Like Cole Bassett being back is going to be great. I think Ralph Priso is going to be really good. I think it's really good that you have Priso and Bassett, that you don't have to, you're not relying on, say, both of them to start and play every single game and be great and consistent. That's when they were at their best, when they finished first. Like Cole Bassett was like the most overqualified rotation center mid in the league because it was really difficult to break into that group. But he still played a lot and they found ways to get him on the field. So that's the MO for this team, is having a lot of really good players that you can rotate and change. So I'm imagining that they're going to continue to try to bring in more players, even if, say, as we're talking about with center backs, maybe it's not 100% obvious who it would be or where it would go and if it'd be a starter or not. I think that the idea is try to bring in a lot of really good players, make training super, super competitive, and then, hope that a best 11 kind of organically figures itself out.
Yeah, and you see the comments, Callens and Aaron Long, and
Yeah.
and those seem kind of like a pipe dream, right? But you definitely need, right? I mean, this is the off season for pipe dreams, right? This is the time to hope for those kind of, those level of guys. Our guy Mark in the comments always.
You're kind of getting a feeling what Rapids fans is about.
I've gathered based on replies to my tweets and when I break news, or like I think my favorite is if I report a move that another team is making, and mid-level kind of move, not like a huge superstar. It's like, oh god damn it! Like, please tell me that the Rapids, like, look at this team doing this. The Rapids aren't doing anything, and I'm like, oh man.
Our guy Joseph Samuelson, he's from worked with Burgundy Wave and does some writing around the Rapids sphere. He has a question here that says, is there a veteran stopgap option that the Rapids could sign like Yappy, kind of like how they had Badgie and then they went into Zardes and kind of just rotating that top spot until Yappy's ready?
I mean, yeah, and it's good to plan that way. I would just assume that Yappy's going to be in Europe like sooner rather than later. So I don't think that you should be planning for 2024, as this is the year that Yappy's going to get 30 starts. And hey, maybe it'll happen. But if I had to guess, it's once he breaks into the first team, because clubs in Europe know about him. He was on training since last year. He was with Club Brugge, and I believe he was somewhere else.
Arsenal, I think, too. With the
it was good. It's one of the things that I reported on too, so it's funny that
I scooped the scoop.
But yeah, so it's like he's a U.S. Youth National Team kid. Like, scouts know about this kid. Like, Joe Scally was sold to Mönchengladbach for $2 million up front, up to $7 million before he made his MLS debut, and as a 17-year-old. So, like, the days of, oh my God, this kid broke out for 30 starts. Who the hell is this? Like, the clubs in Europe all know about him. So we'll see what happens with him. I was hoping that he was going to earn some more minutes last year. Clearly, the coaching staff didn't feel he was ready. So I'm really excited to hopefully see him get a year of semi-regular minutes and see what he can do kind of before he leaves. But again, I think he will. He's one of those kids who's going to leave sooner rather than later.
Sure, and we kind of heard your Priso takes and your Yappy takes. But there's other young guys on the roster. Yahya Toure is going to miss the season. I thought he came on really strong.
I love
favorite guy is Yahya.
Devastated. I was such a big fan of Torres, and I thought that was another, like, it wasn't just the Rapids finding players that were already MLS experienced. Like, they scouted him through the academies and like decide like, hey, like, he's more valuable to us than he is to you, Red Bulls. Like, you guys aren't playing with wingers. Red Bulls were okay with the trade. The kid obviously was open to the move to Colorado. So like, I thought that was smart and it was working out well. And then, just as he's breaking into the team, scoring a couple goals, he gets hurt. That's just devastating.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then
fun fact real quick. I was named after Yahya Toure, the Rapids player, even though I'm 6 years older than him.
Yeah.
the vision there, they knew.
They
knew he was coming.
And then I guess the other young guy who came on strong, I thought late last season, would be Max. And I don't know if you are a Max guy or you see him making more of an impact this year. I thought he had a strong finish, rough start, and sort of where you see him fitting in this season.
Yeah, I had higher hopes for Max than kind of what he showed. But again, like, whatever, he was 20 when he was signed. Like it's not easy. Like, I have to keep and we all have to keep reminding ourselves, this isn't Football Manager, this isn't FIFA. Like, potential and talent are two different things, and it's a bumpy road to bridge the gap between talent and potential. And I think the national team is a really good example of this, that I think we all get carried away of, oh my God, these players are so talented. Like, it's like, like 29-year-olds generally are better than 19-year-olds, or, give or take. So we all fall in love with potential. I'm guilty of it as well, because it's fun to project and think of what kids could be. So it's like, I was kind of like, you can kind of be critical of Max, the player. It's a 19, 20-year-old kid that's coming from Brazil, and his first big move away. Like, he wasn't even, I forget exactly how many appearances he had, but he wasn't a seasoned professional because he was a teenager in Brazil. So like, I still have high hopes for him. I wouldn't kind of give up on that. I'm generally slower to give up on players regardless anyway, so take that with what you will. But yeah, we'll see. And again, it kind of goes back to the Priso and Cole Bassett point, is that I think part of the problem was I was looking at Max, or maybe the way that it worked out for the club, is that they were banking on him to be a regular contributor and kind of somebody that they could rely on. And again, it's difficult for a kid that age, for a player of that profile. Like, you have to look at it like Cesar Rajo with Orlando City. It was a bonus that he was awesome this year. That was a 19-year-old kid from the Uruguayan top by Uruguayan youth. That was very talented, very high potential, but like, banking on him to be great, like, that's not, always sustainable. So I'm still hopeful for him, and I hope that we kind of see a lot more from him in the second year.
All right, one last question for you. Are the Rapids back in the playoffs next year?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just gonna generally say yes off the bat here because I really believe what this team is
Let's
doing.
go.
I really like Robin Fraser. I think that they still need to make a couple more moves. And it's easy to say yes when you're not pressing me for a top 7 right now.
Sure,
which,
sure.
we can't do. So maybe it sounds like pandering, but like, yeah, I mean, I just generally believe in this team. I do think that Diego Rubio, what he showed last year, is more like what he is. Like, I don't think that was a fluke last season. So
Sure.
they just got to build off that. Hopefully that Cabral gives you more than, say, like what Jonathan Lewis has given. If he's kind of an upgrade in the attack, if the defense gets stabilized, Jack Price, if he's fit for the full season, I think that was something that flew under the radar. A little bit of just how important he is to this team. He's underrated. So, yeah, if you had to say yes or no, I'd say yes.
Awesome. Guys, you guys got any other questions for Tom?
No, I think everybody's heard about the Gio Reyna stuff, and I think everybody's kind of tired of it at this point. We know what's going on. So I
Tom,
think that's it for me.
Go for it.
Who do
Dwayne.
you have for Sunday World Cup? Who do you think we'll see on Sunday? Who do you think is going to take it?
I've been pulling for Argentina for Messi, and even after it almost felt better to continue to say that after they lost to Saudi Arabia, because in the beginning of the tournament, it's like, oh yeah, like the team that's like the third betting favorite, like way to go out on a limb. It's like, well, they're flawed. They just lost to Saudi Arabia, but I still believe. So
Sure.
His performance today was just out of control. Man,
Yeah.
I hope that we're seeing that in Fort Lauderdale in 6 months.
Yeah, we actually
let's hope so.
we actually got to watch that game with Drew Moore and Diego Rubio here with us. They were
how was that?
Yeah, no, they were really fun. They were all into it. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
quick shout out to those guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. Hopefully get you on sometime next season.
Of course, no, you don't have to wait till next year. Appreciate it. We can check in again.
Awesome. Thanks.
All
All
right,
right. That was
Bye,
Tom
man.
Bogert. Thanks for joining DNVR Rapids podcast. We're going to jump into some more stuff with you. But first, we got to talk about the homies. We got to talk about the homies. And it's the homies at Game Time. Bam, 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 bam. Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site. Makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concert, and shows. If you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could, 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert.
I know I do.
What do you call those seats? I see them from up top, from the media group. There's like behind the ad boards. What do you call those? At the dick. You know what I mean? There's
Oh, the VIP kind of lounge that's back there.
No. It's like on the sideline, and it's like in between the ad boards.
Those are on the pitch seats.
Pitch seats. Well, if you want those, you know where
Pitch,
you go,
not
guys.
the other word.
Yeah.
Field.
You go to Game Time. That's where you go. It's possible to get them there. It's the last minute price drops that you want. They can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. You won't find a better deal this season on, I don't know, Nugs, Abs, Buffs. It's created by the fans for the fans and guarantees the lowest price. If you love us, you'll love Game Time. And the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the YouTube description. Join over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and score the best seats to all of your favorite events. And of course, we have to talk about our friends at Denver Health. It's open enrollment time for individual health plans now through January 15th. Denver Health medical plans offer Elevate Exchange plans available on Connect for Health Marketplace with great benefits and affordable plan choices. You can also call direct at 303-602-4912 and sign up online at denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Elevate Exchange plans have options for individuals and families looking for cost-effective, quality health insurance for those who might not get coverage through their employer or who might be self-employed and need coverage. All Elevate Exchange plans include adult, dental, and vision at no additional cost. Plus, this year, we've offered lower monthly premiums than any plan currently available on the marketplace. And we've added mental health benefits for your regular copay. Go online. Give us a call at 303-602-4912. Plan members have options to receive care at any of our 10 family health centers in the Denver area or the main hospital outpatient medical center at Denver Health. Additionally, this year, we added a new virtual mental health option called Elevate Mind. It's available 24/7 at the cost of a normal copay. Great for those who need a convenient resource for mental health. We are an NCQA accredited health plan, which means we have a higher standard for quality of care. Open enrollment for the exchange runs November 1st. Already, we're right in the middle of it. Ends January 15th. Enroll by December 15th to have your coverage going on January 1st. Call today, 303-602-4912, or visit denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Okay. We just had Tommy Scoops on the pod. That was pretty tight.
Yeah, so you follow the NFL Kevin said it best, like Adam Schefter coming onto our pod. It's like, if you follow the NBA, it's like Woj coming on. We got the scoop head himself, a Tom Bogert.
Yeah, dude. Tommy Bombs, dude. Bomby Bogert. Let's go. Dude, that was cool as hell.
Yeah, dude, great job to Mitch, dude, for getting him on.
Look,
Networking does help, guys.
here's what you do. You go on the internet and you shoot your shot, right? Like, that's just what you do. You shoot your
Talking
shot.
to you, Kim K.
Yeah, what I'm saying. Slide into Rihanna's DMs. That's what I'm telling you, listeners. Do it. See what happens. Can't hurt.
Ask fighting to go to your wedding. Don't care.
You just gotta go for it, baby. No, but that's really cool. And I think he did nail it best. Like,
It was surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
oh yeah, he was just like, okay.
Just hey, come be on the show. And he was like, okay. I mean, very cool thing.
Yeah.
Did I just cut out again?
No, you're good.
Internet.
You're not
Oh, you're
gone.
good.
You're fine.
Oh, okay.
Crystal clear, baby.
Yeah.
Great.
So crystal
I
clear.
am having internet issues,
good.
though, so.
So crystal clear. We could see the hot dog guy in the background from. I think you should leave. Yeah, we're all looking for the guy who got the scoop here.
It's Mitch just by saying, hey, come on the show, which I think is a nice testament to how cool Tom is. So
Yeah.
I thought he had a really good point, and I know Joseph's brought it up before, and we've talked about it, but if you just kind of look at the team that thrived to the 1 seed and kind of where this team ended last year, like, yeah, you accumulated assets when you traded K, and you kind of made these moves that individually kind of like a lot of, like bring in resources. Resources don't play on the field though, right? And that's kind of where the whole grand scheme of it kind of throws it off to where it's like, okay, cool, we trade away this, and now you kind of have this young team that underperforms. I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. I hadn't really thought of that perspective all that much until he brought it up right there.
Yo, that's the Rapids way, though, right? Like,
That's the Rapids way.
like,
Jesus.
I mean, it's kind of true. Like, it sucks, but it's kind of true, Like, they're great at doing all this outside, and it's kind of not translating.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
and it's nothing against anybody. It's just it doesn't translate. Like, until you get results, it doesn't matter as much. Like,
oh, should we talk about Beta?
Oh, let's talk about Mr. Shore.
Yeah,
Talk
dude, we're
about
Beta boys
Beta.
over here for sure, dude. We love
Absolutely.
Beta, and
I
he's
love
back.
myself a little BS.
So, is he gonna? Do you think he should? I mean, he's not gonna start, right? Like, there's still another left back move, right? Like,
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
it seems like he likes it here. Like, we've hung out with him a few times now with the World Cup stuff. He seems to be very comfortable in Denver, right? He's got to be closer to retiring than not, right? So it more seems like, should we just keep offering him contracts to be the third guy until he doesn't want to be anymore? Maybe into fourth guy in the next couple of years.
If he plays as
Dude,
well as he did last year, absolutely. Like, I mean, we said at the end of the season, like, Beta was an unsung hero of the season. Like, really jumped in without much fanfare and came in and just did a solid job back there. So yeah, I mean, as long as he's still playing at form and playing well, then yeah, absolutely. I would love to keep him on. It's also good. I mean, because we're getting, like, even like Tom said, like the goal is to get young, and fast and dynamic. So
Yeah,
it's nice to have a couple of veteran dudes there to kind of help the young guys along.
left back to me is kind of the spot that I feel like I have the worst read on in terms of like who
What's
is
going
even
on?
out there as the option. Like, who, what's the name? Because I feel like it's gonna be it's either gonna be
Alfonso Davies, something like that. Like,
no, I mean Alfonso Davies. Yeah, we're gonna give Byron $100 million
and a hug. And
yeah.
a hug.
and just a sweet little mwah. Is it gonna be mining down in Ecuador, Argentina, Brazil? Is it an interleague move? It's just so hard to read that one. Mark has a good point there. There may be some solutions in house. Maybe Markinick's ready. I don't even know if he's officially back or on the roster, but it just feels like, the farther we go into this, it feels to me like that is the biggest hole. And I don't think I even thought that like a week ago. Like,
Yeah, especially because you can like fill the striker hole with a Rubio, with a Cabral, a Yappy. You can throw something out there. You kind of know what's out there.
yeah.
But with that defense, you just don't have any idea, especially how poorly they performed.
And I hated the 5-back by the, I mean, obviously they went away from it completely at a certain point, so I'm not the only one that hated it, but
Huge talking point last year for sure.
but if you bring Booba back, right, and now all of a sudden you do have 3 starter, you kind of 4 starting level center backs. Not that you can't improve on that starting level, but you do kind of seem to have 4 guys on the roster that can start. Maybe you do go 3 back, and then you do put Galvan on that left side. Let him and let Keegan really work those edges. I don't know. But now I'm nervous about left back more than I was like a week ago.
The thing is, man, that like we don't hear any rumors from the Rapids. I try to get
We bug
Tom.
them
Yeah,
basically daily. Yeah.
I try to get Tom to throw something out there too, and even he was like, I don't know. The Rapids are so like, we'll find out. They have options. Like nothing. Nobody knows what's going on in that left back position, which is super frustrating for
Yeah.
somebody that's like trying to like put together this roster and trying to think about how they can play, trying to do predictions. But they're not here to make us happy. They're here to make us think, right? We're pundits. We're not here. We're not their best friends.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's probably if they do go get somebody, it's going to be like an intra MLS trade, like they always do. They're not great at luring free agents here. It's probably going to be somebody.
There's not even really a left back free agent you would even really, be hungry for.
Santos was the one, and he already got picked up.
Yeah.
He was 34. He was kind of out there. That would be the one guy that you would kind of want to look at. But he got picked up immediately. But a trend that we're seeing with this team is they're starting to pick up players that are distressed in other situations that are super young. They're not even picking up the veterans. They're picking up the 20-year-olds, the 22-year-olds, the 19-year-olds that can develop into something.
Yeah, and when you look kind of through their FBref stuff, you see a lot of, when you look at like the percentiles of kind of where they rank among the MLS, it's almost all green when it comes to progressive passes, which absolutely was a major issue, right? Was those final third finishing passes all last season. So if you think that it wasn't the finishing, it was the service to the finishing, Cabral's definitely a good addition. It kind of seems to be the focus. I don't know. We'll see. Why don't you pull up Joseph's comment there that just came through? So in-house, Travis, Anderson, Markinick. I don't know. Markinick had a great debut, and then I thought just terrible games the rest of the year. Duane, you've been quiet about this left back slot. What do you think about Markinick or Galvan or whoever there?
I don't like Galvan being back at left back.
Okay, good. You follow that up.
I'm okay with
confirmed. Duane hates Galvan, dude.
No, he's like one of my favorites. I don't want to see him at left back.
I know.
We're playing with you, my guy. We're playing with you.
So I'll throw out this name. I admittedly don't know a lot about him, but yeah, I've been kind of looking around at the left back situation. So maybe you guys, or certainly Joseph or someone in the comments might want to jump in. Oh, how dare you, Mark? How dare you?
Spinning fast.
Literally.
Careful what you say. Mark will flame us on Twitter for it. So careful here, Duane.
Ronald Matarrita.
Okay.
Left
That's
back,
your guy.
Costa Rican player.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't played because of an injury. I think he spent some time with Cincinnati, but again, he's been out with an ankle injury. But I think he got called up. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he's 28, so it's not like he's super young. He could bring in some presence in there. Again, I've not scouted him, obviously, but I'm just looking at some of these names that maybe aren't popping up anywhere else, and just kind of wondering, rather than taking someone and playing him out of position that we already have, are there names out there that could still come in and help out at that left back position? Is what I would like to see happen.
Man,
who knows?
Markinick's
what will
older than I
actually happen.
thought.
Yeah. He's
23.
not-
That's
He-
like,
I think he was a junior or senior in college when he got drafted. So
man.
he's a regular NFL rookie, not good for soccer when it comes to development and how quick they develop.
Kamar Lawrence, that's a name I can mess with. What do you think,
I-
Yaya?
I liked what Duane said. I had looked at him too, Margarita. I thought, especially with Chacon coming in this year and finally playing with Rapids.
Yeah, cultivate the Tico culture, dude. Let's go.
Well, not just that. Like Chacon can play center back. He's played it before. Maybe that's the solution there. Maybe that you put him in there with you put him on the left center back and you bring in Margarita and you have that that Tico connection that could really help out and help develop. And that's something I kind of looked into as well.
I'm all for that.
Another option that I don't think people talk about a lot is Boubacar Keita in that left back. I think that's he's played some left back. He's big. He's fast.
He's
and
physical.
Exactly, and it might be somebody that can pair really well and maybe have Keegan the one pushing up instead of
I mean,
Keita.
it's certainly not a like for like with Lucas, obviously, but if you want to kind of shift right instead of shift left with that back line, with Pricey dropping back, with Acosta dropping back, and kind of pushing Keegan more into the attack and getting some rockets off, dude. I'm in.
I also think that it'd be smart because if that turns into a 3-back, you have a taller defense, which is something very necessary. I think the Rapids struggled at times to see pieces, and they were very shaky. So that's one reason I would like to bring Keita in because of the height and just have some of your best players in there. But again, maybe a Chacon and Margarita, that's the way you go. A left back of Margarita, and then you have Chacon, and you bring in a Lawless or a Danny Wilson, and you have Keegan, and that just fixes the defense.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't want your wings pushing up, your left back and right back pushing up as much. You saw last year when you had Lucas pushing all the way up, it really bothered Jonathan Lewis, and maybe just that's not the way to go. Maybe you have a little bit more of a mid to the next half of the midfield instead of all the way up, and give Lewis and give Cabral more. Yeah, exactly. Give Lewis a little bit more space. Give Cabral more space.
Yeah, and let Keita kind of sit back. I don't hate that. I mean, I'm so curious what it's going to be. It's like, the back line, I mean, obviously it was a big problem towards the end of the season, but like, it's almost something you don't necessarily worry about going in with a Fraser coach team. And it's more something you're curious about how it's going to shake out. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I think that is kind of like, God, it's time to fill, right? I mean, there's only 5 roster slots left. We're less than a month from them having to report, give or take a few days. It's you get 5 spots left, so you're assuming maybe one more center back, even though you are bringing basically you got to replace that Drew spot, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. Now you have 4 slots left. Need a striker to replace Yossi. Okay, now you have 3 slots left.
Unless Cabral really has to move there, which is I'm getting
it's possible,
slowly scared of.
You need a left back. Okay, now you have 2 slots left. Right. So what do you do there? And you still have 1 supplemental spot left too. I don't know. I hope the news starts flying fast and furious. We got the kind of season review media luncheon this week. Maybe something will come out there. This is something. Okay, that's a good comment from Joseph.
That's something that I don't want to see.
Well, we saw Nicholson start in that last home game at right back. I want to say no, left back. Because Keegan wasn't out. And I think we were all kind of like, what is happening? I
was against the back 5 all last year. I hated it. Even when Trusty was in there, when you had Lucas, no matter who, I hate the back 5 because it takes spots away from your most talented positions, which is the forward spots.
Sure. Yeah. Man, it just feels like a waste of Galvan. It doesn't feel like a waste of Nicholson. Honestly, it feels like you're maximizing Nicholson because you're honestly, you can't.
Oh, you're right. I just laughed because I never thought about it that way.
Right, because he doesn't have the steps he had. That's clear, right? I don't think that's a knock on him. He's just not as fast. It could be. I don't think he had COVID. I think he had the flu or something.
Oh, okay.
He was just really sick. And that does throw your training off and whatever. But also when he did get the steps, he couldn't get a cross in. It was just getting blocked every time by the guy marking him. So maybe dropping him back helps that he can distribute a little more. I don't know. They're stuck with him for 2.5 years. He's under contract, right? I mean, you're not going to get a lot of resources back for him in a trade.
Yeah.
So maybe that does optimize that, and you roll like Joseph said, and you have Lawless, D. Will, Keegan as your 3 on the back, which I thought Keegan was lights out no matter where they put him on. I think he played all 4 spots on the back line. I don't know. I'm nervous. I
think it's time to clear some of that back too, like some of that back that because I think the forward group is really crowded.
It's so crowded.
So I think it's time we might see a Mikey or even a Sam Nicholson, if you can get anything, going one way and then bringing in another player, like maybe a left back, maybe another midfield that could help them out. Because that's how the Rapids build their whole structure, their whole team. They build it through trades. They build it through players that are disgruntled in other locations. They don't build it through a free agency. They don't do it through buying players from other clubs. It's usually they have to go trade for them because that's how they get the best players available that want to play in Colorado.
Duane, is there a move sitting there that you're like, go make that move happen?
I don't know that there's a player in mind for me, but if there is a move for a striker, I feel like I've been of that mindset since probably 2013. So yes, if there's a striker, go make that move. That's how I feel about that. But I really don't want to see Rubio slotted over there.
He needs to stay at the 10.
We've talked about it, Joseph, Burgundy Wave, like everybody knows, like Rubio is most successful when he's not forced into that 9 spot. So let's not do that, Go ahead.
I just forgot. Okay, well, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about Kevin's comment. Take away one of those last spots to fill a goalkeeper. There's really only one wild card spot left, right? Like in terms of an addition to the team, because you need a left back, a keeper, a center back, a striker. Who's that's like there's one spot left, and then there's that one supplemental spot, and that's a draft pick, right? So, but that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
It's time. I mean, it's time. I bet you Long signs somewhere this week. Callens will probably sign somewhere this week or next. I mean, these moves have to start happening. All of a sudden, it's Christmas, right? Like, we're 2 weeks from Christmas. So, less, right? 11 days or whatever. Like, you turn around New Year's and then it's reporting time. And these guys need to, these guys want to be in the city they're going to play in. They want to start getting settled in. If they have kids, they want to make the move happen quickly. They can find the right school, et cetera, et cetera. Although it does seem like the Rapids are going to go young and not, I mean, that doesn't mean they won't have kids. You know what I mean, though. It's
Has Sean Johnson signed anywhere yet? That's who I want as our main goalkeeper, and then put Yahir back up. There we go. No goals allowed ever again.
That's wild.
Go bring Sean Johnson. Him and Callens. Let's go. Callens and Sean Johnson. You'll never concede another goal ever again.
Yeah, man.
Certainly shore up our defensive woes from last year.
All right. I was really excited entering this segment, and now I'm sad. So let's talk about something else. We're going to get into the World Cup. But first, from the homies at Illegal Pete's. Shout out, dude. I worked at Illegal Pete's for 8 years. I was general manager on the Colfax location, the Fort Collins location. I worked in Pearl Street in Boulder. I worked at DU. I worked downtown. I've been all over it. Pizza rules, man, straight up and down. We are so hyped to be teaming up with the local legends. Here at DNVR, Illegal Pizza is always our go-to spot for burritos, beers, hangs on the patio. We've had some good work lunches down on that patio, Duane.
It's true. And I've been won over to reverse nachos. I'll never go back.
Whoa. The D-line agenda is thriving.
D-line has shared the reverse nachos love with America, and it's time for us all to accept it.
All right, here's what we're going to do. Every time I read an Illegal Pete's ad read, I'm going to drop a sneaky, good little trick to order at Illegal Pete's. We'll throw it in for free. This time, here's the move. Are you guys ready for this? Large chips and queso. Okay. You get a big old cup of queso. You have them put a scoop of the pesto in it that they make in house, and you mix it up. And it turns green, which is weird for queso. But it just adds like this garlicky, rich goodness to it, and it makes it even better. And it's so good. That's your illegal pizza tip for the day.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
There you go. You cannot beat their endless option of fresh ingredients and the strongest margaritas around. That is true. No doubt, strongest margaritas around. Stop by one of the 12 locations throughout Colorado and Arizona for happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. every day. Holiday season is more enjoyable with a piping hot cup of queso, and nothing warms you up quite like a margarita. Legal Pizza's hooking you all up with a little something extra this year. Spend $100 on gift cards. Score an extra $25 for free. Wishing you a happy holidays from Illegal Pete's, where good friends gather. And lastly, we have to talk about Green Mountain Dental Group. The most rewarding thing about DNVR is seeing the connections made through our listeners in this community. Green Mountain Dental is an OG partner of ours and major Colorado sports fans. They've been a supporter of DNVR since the beginning. We've had countless fans as well as our own staff convert to Green Mountain Dental and never look back. Located just 15 minutes from downtown Denver and Lakewood, CSU alum Dr. Ben and his team have you covered from general dentistry like regular cleanings, orthodontics such as removing those pesky wisdom teeth, and everything in between. Green Mountain Dental has a few offers for the DNVR family. Tell the team that DNVR Sports sent you, and you get $300 discount for full orthodontics treatment for new patients. And if you mention DNVR Sports, you get a free set of bleach trays of $350 value with a new patient cleaning, exam, and x-rays. Lastly, for all the hygienists out there, Green Mountain Dental is hiring. Full and part-time positions are available. They're willing to work with your schedule, as well as offering great benefits package with healthcare and paid time off. You'll love to see it. To make an appointment or find more information, check out their website, greenmountaindentalgroup.com. Today, shout out to the sponsors. Okay. World Cup time. I think I cursed Croatia with my Twitter name. Ooh, big. Ooh.
All you see is up the pit, man.
So here's my question. If I want Morocco to go through, do I put the Moroccan flag in there or do I put the French flag in there?
Gotta go with France.
Right? Because either then I'm right or I cursed them.
Exactly. You look good regardless.
It's a really good
That's
point.
what
Yeah. And that's all I'm worried about.
That's what we talked about earlier. We're not here in the business of making predictions. We're in the business of looking good.
That's just true. And I look great. So there you go. Please jinx France, please. Yeah, dude.
I love that he's on my side.
Duane is actually a huge fan of France. It's his favorite country. It's his favorite people. Nothing bad has ever happened to him about the French.
It's true. But this might surprise you. What might surprise you is I'm actually pulling for Morocco.
Whoa!
I know. I'm in on this Cinderella story, and I'm ready to see him go all the way through. So I'm pulling for Morocco this time.
This feels to me a lot like in March Madness when you have a team make a run, like
Loyola.
Loyola Chicago makes a run, but then all of a sudden you get to the Elite Eight weekend, right? And it's like they've had too much time to think about it. Talent levels, it starts to stretch. The difference in talent. I think they absolutely can. They have as good of an attack as anyone in this tournament except France. They have two really good guys up top. I still think it's France. I think we get France versus Messi, and that's going to be
which would be an awesome final.
It's going to get messy.
Oh,
and those French kits are awesome.
Man, France-Argentina final definitely feels like the best team versus the best player who also has a really good team, right?
I'm all the way in Argentina, man. I don't hate Luka Modric as much as I did.
I can't believe you hate Luka Modric.
I'm a Barca fan. Dude. I'm a Barca fan. Like,
okay, but he's still awesome.
What's a Man City player that you hate? You hate Kevin De Bruyne?
No, I love Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, he's awesome.
Who do you dislike? And I can make the same argument. I can make the same.
Yeah, you're right. All right, fine.
And again, I don't hate him as a person. I have a lot of I
hate the crest. I don't really hate the players. I mean, everyone's so good at City. That's a tough one. It's like, how can you hate?
This goes deeper with Mexico too in 2014. It's not just Barca.
That's a good point.
I have other shit going on in my head.
You got to let Mexico 2014 go, man.
Well, I won't
It
even
is
let
almost.
this-
It is
but-
almost
Dude.
a decade.
Yeah.
I won't let go of Mexico 2006. You think I'm gonna let go of Mexico
Yeah.
2014?
Yeah, to quote Superbad right here, it was 8 years ago, asshole.
I don't think if it was 20 decades ago, it still hurts. Have you guys ever felt pain so bad? I don't think you guys have. Smash your finger and smash your toe in any corner and multiply that by 1 billion, and that's how bad that hurt.
All right. We're sorry. All right, we'll stop bragging
No,
on it. Okay.
Either way,
Here's-
I don't hate him as much anymore after I watched Captains on Netflix. It was a really good show, by the way.
I think
And that
everyone
made me
here
like
is
him a lot more.
pulling for Messi to add to the trophy case, right?
Yep.
All of us.
I am.
Duane?
I don't care either way.
No?
At this point, I just want to watch a nice final. Just want it to be fun to watch. Doesn't matter to me who wins.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
happy. Morocco, France, Argentina, whoever wins, good for them.
Okay. Well, then let's get into some of the bigger World Cup, the whole tournament now that it's kind of in the rear view. Favorite teams, favorite moments, favorite performances. Does anything jump out for you guys immediately?
Yes, Japan.
Dude, Japan was awesome.
I love them so much. I love them so much.
Yeah.
And I've said it before and again, like the way the Japanese national team played in the World Cup is a brand of soccer that would make Americans like soccer more. It's just a very pure brand of soccer that's not a lot of flopping around. It's a lot of hustle and get after it. It's soccer without all the shenanigans, and it's just everyone in, pressing hard, and it's exciting. It's just, I'm such a huge fan of what the Japanese national team has done. I'm so thankful that they were in the World Cup and I got to watch them. So, and that's very much a love letter to Japan, but I really enjoyed watching them play, man. They were fantastic. I love their fans. They stay after the matches and they help clean up the stadium.
That's so cool.
The coverage of that. It's awesome. Yeah. Like, so, I mean, they've been my, outside of the US, they are my favorite story and favorite team to watch by far. Hands down.
Japan's dope.
Yeah.
What's one that you have, Mitch?
Kind of in line with Japan, but about the minute and a half where Japan and Costa Rica were going to go through in that group, right?
That was insane.
Right? Costa Rica leveled it or whatever, and for about
I think they were winning it too.
For like 3 minutes or less, it was them going through. Never forget that ever.
What about Gakpo?
Gakpo's been awesome. Future Manchester United goal scorer, Cody Gakpo. You love it. I think for me, it's kind of the old guard, right? Like these legends who are for sure on their last ride. Ronaldo didn't have a great tournament, obviously, but Modric had a great tournament. Messi's having a great tournament.
Lewandowski scoring his first goal for
Lula scored. Giroud, breaking Thierry Henry's record. It's just been really, I think on a personal, I was so nervous going into the tournament. Not necessarily nervous. I was so focused on all the problems with Qatar, and I think, it still is. I still think there is plenty of problems that we can get into, but I think I kind of forgot how awesome World Cups are. You know what I mean? Like, 4 years apart, it's like, it's you forget the epicness of this. It's a small sample size. You're only guaranteed the 3 games, and that's it. And that's all you get. And to watch some of these guys come through, Neymar had some nice goals. Richarlison had some really nice goals. You just kind of see these coming out parties happen. Rashford had some, had 3 goals with England, and it's just really fun to watch, man. I've had a great time, and I agree with Dev. Qatar losing was awesome.
That was one of my favorite
Awesome.
parts.
Not scoring too, I believe, right? 0 goals.
No, they scored a goal,
Yeah.
I think.
In the last game, did they get one?
Yeah, I think they got one.
Yeah, fuck them.
I think. But I kind of like.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No, but just kind of like piggybacking what you said. Like I think the kind of like in the old guard sentiment, like the powerhouses were not powerhouses this time around. A lot of them lost. A lot of them were taken down. Belgium didn't even qualify for the group stage, like for the knockout stage. It's like there was so many of these teams that were supposed to be like that were supposed to be in the semis and the quarters that just didn't make it. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was great to see the rest of the world kind of catch up to these elite national teams.
Yeah, and I do, I think it'd be remiss if we're talking about the problems with Qatar to not bring up Grant Wall. Rest in peace. Huge loss. Definitely an inspiration, I think, to anyone trying to get into this field and to talk soccer in the U.S. and find these little niches in soccer culture, whether it's the Rapids or talking R2 or, campaigning for a NWSL team here. Like none of that stuff is even possible without a lot of the work that he's done for soccer in this country. He's truly a giant in the industry, and to have him pass at this tournament under strange circumstances, I guess I would put it, is it's heartbreaking. It truly hit home. It was a tough Friday night, tough weekend. And I think, you can scroll through Tom Bogert's Twitter feed, all sorts of pieces. His wife had a really nice piece that she published. It just, not just a good soccer reporter, he's clearly a good person, right? Campaigning for human rights, talking to the migrant workers, wearing his rainbow flag shirt into that stadium. I don't know. It's
not carrying, just doing what you got to do to get the word out. Not bending the knee to Qatar was the best part about
speaking truth to power, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to remind everybody that it doesn't matter how good the games have been. Remember, Qatar has nothing to do with how good the games are.
Sure.
Qatar is just hosting this tournament, and they don't deserve any credit for how good this tournament has been.
Absolutely zero. This isn't Qatar's tournament. This is the games tournament.
Exactly, and I want everybody to remember that Qatar did not deserve this World Cup. Qatar broke multiple promises that they made to FIFA about this World Cup, and they are not a country that deserves to host this. And I think we haven't said it on a podcast since the World Cup started, but I think it's been pretty obvious that we were against this World Cup from the beginning and all the corruption that it took place for it to be there.
Duane?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
I think, I know it's easy and right and true to call out Qatar and what's going on, but we have to look at FIFA as well, and
Absolutely.
Things have already come down the line for FIFA, and that's what has it's hand in hand. So we have to look at our governing organization as well for that, and as for Grant Wall, it doesn't matter if you're, someone who's trying to get into journalism or just someone who enjoys soccer. If you've tried to learn something about soccer at any point in your life, more than certainly American soccer, more than likely you've read a piece either by him or by someone that was inspired or coached up by him, so
absolutely
massive loss for not just journalism, but just for American soccer in general,
I
huge
think North
bummer.
America in general.
Yeah.
I know Mexico also felt the pain too. I know a lot of Mexican fans Mexican pundits that were really upset about Grant Wall's death. It was just a horrible, horrible thing to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, he's back. The U.S. got him back. Hopefully he gets to the bottom of it and nothing but the best for his wife and family and friends and all the reporters that he worked with and taught. And I don't think there's much else to say there. It's just a tragedy. I guess with that, let's kind of wrap things up and look ahead to the next week or two and kind of what we're going to be doing over here at DNVR. Yahya, why don't you tell them what's up?
We're doing a watch along, guys, for the final, so tune into that. We will also please give us a 5-star review wherever you hear us. If you have nothing nice to say, please don't say it at all. And give this a like. It really helps with the algorithm. Let us interact with us on Twitter. Let us know what you like and don't like. And I promise you we'll try to accommodate as much as we can.
Duane?
Yeah, we'll see you Sunday here at the DNVR bar. We'll be here for the watch along. I know Drew Moore will be here for sure. There may be some other surprises as well. But he and I talked about that today, and he's excited to be here and excited to see everybody downstairs.
We'll have a post-game show for sure with Drew. So look out for that. As I'm here in the DNVR merch cave, if you want to get your Christmas presents, do that now. Please don't wait till next week when I might not be able to ship it in time. Get your orders in ASAP. I will do my best to get it out as fast as possible. Like, subscribe, hit that little thumbs up right below this video. Please, 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 please. Helps us out. And obviously, shout out to super producer Yahya for trying all this cool stuff and making us look good and sound good. And huge thanks to Tommy Scoops for coming on and just talking PIDs with us. So more important than all of that, man, there's only one thing we say to end a show, and it's the one thing that matters the most, baby. Up the PIDs.